Hello and welcome to another video. In this one I'm gonna talk about reclaim, what it is, how to reclaim, and some other stuff you might find interesting. It's gonna be from the very basics to some more advanced stuff. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. You can reclaim with several units, with all NGs of all techs, and Harbingers, which is Aeon T3 unit, can also reclaim, and then of course support commanders and commanders. So now what reclaim is? It is a command that will turn things that are on map into resources. So for example, trees that will give you some energy and mass boost. Rocks is only for mass, and if you reclaim that units that I have over here, that will give you also mass. So also you can notice that you can highlight the reclaim values on a map. So if you want to do that, you go to menu, options, interface, and at the back down here is show reclaim mass values, and so you enable that. You may need to restart your game to apply the changes. I'm not sure about that one, so if it's not showing right away, just don't panic and restart the game. And then if you press Control and Shift at the same time, you will see what the wrecks are worth. Okay, so now let's get back to the reclaim and how to apply that. So there are many ways how to reclaim. You can either select it to reclaim specific things, or then you can also set up attack move that will reclaim automatically if you don't have full storage, which is not the case in this one since I've prepared some extra storage. Okay, so to do that, you hold left alt and do a right click on the map, and this command will show up, and you will reclaim everything pretty much in this range, I would say, maybe slightly more. The same thing you can do is also put the NG on patrol, which is this one, or I have hotkey for that, so you can set up patrol, and it works exactly the same as attack move. Only difference is that patrol is infinite, so if you reclaim everything what is in this area, the NG will not stop and just go through these checkpoints, and if there's something more to reclaim, if some units die there, it will go then and reclaim it. On attack move, it will reclaim everything in range, then once everything is reclaimed here, it will arrive to this position and stop, and it will show up as idle NG. So that is the main difference between attack move and patrol. So some specific unit that can also reclaim is Harbinger. So you can also queue up some reclaim commands. It will reclaim a bit slower than T1 NG, but it can be still useful, and I will talk more about it later. Okay, so we don't need these units anymore. Let's get rid of them. And now I guess I could talk about how to reclaim and tree reclaim, which is kinda important to give you extra energy at the beginning of the game. So if you go near the forest with your NG and click on it, you can see that right now it reclaims the whole chunk of the forest. But if you go too close and run into the trees, they will break, and now it will reclaim them one by one, which is much slower. So if your units break the trees, then you will reclaim much slower with your NG. Now if I set up attack move, it will also take much longer to reclaim them. You saw how fast it was with one NG. I can show it. I mean with a whole group of the trees, I can show it once more. So if you reclaim it from distance, then it will be reclaimed super fast. Okay, another important thing to mention is where you can check how much you reclaimed already, and that is shown up here. These two values. First is mass, this is total 220, and above that is how much you are reclaiming per second, which is not too much with trees, but it's still better than nothing. It's much more with energy. And let's check that again. If I reclaim this whole chunk So 50 energy per second and some extra mass. And almost 10 per second mass, so definitely worth it to reclaim everything you see on map as soon as possible. Okay, another way of reclaiming I wanted to show you is using NGs that go directly from the factory. There is a slight bug with FA that pretty much everyone uses, and that is if you set attack move from factory and then get NGs there, so that is done the same way, left alt and right click, all the NGs will reclaim from a quite big distance. I'm gonna speed it up to show you. So the NGs will arrive at the point, and now normally this would be the reclaim range, and if it's too far from the range, they would have to move towards the thing they want to reclaim and then get the reclaim. But if you use it from the factory, you'll see that the range is quite significantly increased. So this way you can reclaim a lot of things that would normally be out of range, and also you can reclaim them faster because those NG doesn't need to walk towards them. So as you can see, they are reclaiming a lot from quite distances. Already a lot of this cleanup, and then at some point they will stop, which might be happening right now, but you can just while holding shift drag the order somewhere else. They will move there and start reclaiming the same way again. So this is a really good way how to reclaim a lot of things really fast, but you need to do it before those NGs are idle too much time, or they will lose the order, so it requires some attention from you. Okay, so that would be another way how to reclaim, and then so you can use it at the beginning of the game to get some extra reclaim from the trees without breaking them, which is quite important, but you can always use it at any stage of the game. And when it's also quite important or very useful is after some battle. So I have some dead units here. Those are T2 tanks, 160 mats each, so you want to reclaim them as fast as possible. So you do this distance reclaim again, make some NGs from factory, some forward factory for reclaim, and now the NGs are gonna reclaim everything. There are some trees in the way and rocks I didn't really bother reclaiming before, but you can see what it's doing. Normally if it was some battlefield, then you can still fight here with your own units against your opponent, and NGs can safely reclaim from the back. They don't need to go directly in. So that is also very important. And another thing you may want to know is how to counter this. If your opponent is reclaiming the whole battlefield and you are still fighting there. For this one I set up another one, so I will try to reclaim this one, and I have enemy NG. I will switch just the army view so I can control it. So your opponent is about to reclaim this way and wants to steal all the reclaim. So simple thing you can do with your NG or your ACU is to place a wall somewhere in the middle. And now you can see that the NG is trying to reclaim it, but it can't. So this is a really easy way how to deny this distance reclaim from your opponent. Even if this was your tank just sitting here, it wouldn't reclaim it, but usually you want to keep your units moving, so placing a wall in the middle of reclaim field will deny distance reclaim from your opponent. So that is pretty much the first thing you might not know. Okay, let's switch back, stop this. Now let's move over here, and when I was talking about not breaking your trees and some initial build orders, at the beginning of the game, when you don't have pretty much things to do, when you have your first factory, first NGs, and you are, for example, on a map like Wonder, where you have all the trees in the groups, so you can also avoid of breaking them. And so instead of just putting a mass over here and let the NG walk through the trees, you can always queue up a move command, and that is quite important, in front of the trees. Then queue up a few reclaim commands to reclaim the trees, the tree chunks, another move command, and again reclaim that. Then you can place another one, move it. Sometimes you can place it directly where you want, because those chunk of trees takes quite a lot of space, so you just place the command somewhere else and then drag it onto position and build the max this way. So if you do this, you're not gonna break any of your trees, and then you can use the distance reclaim as I showed you already. Why the move command? Because if you would just give these reclaims, the NG that is coming to reclaim this will not always stop in front. It can go and break the trees. You can sometimes stop even behind the order and then execute it. Let's see what's gonna happen with this one. Okay, this one is very polite and not breaking our trees. Let's queue up a few more commands in. Okay, this NG is not gonna work exactly as I would want, but just remember to queue up always the move command. Try not to break those trees. You can do this pretty much at the beginning of the game where nothing is happening. You have time for that. No excuse not to do that, unless you're really lazy. And about the breaking the trees, can switch over here. And one tactic that can be applied on Wonder, Setons, and pretty much any map that has trees in a group is to build from your first factory scout, for example, and then send it to your opponent and run over all the trees, which will break them. And then your opponent will have to spend much more time reclaiming them than you would have to. So you can get advantage this way as well. Okay, now what else you can do with reclaim? You can also defend with it. Let's imagine you have NG here and wanna build a max, but you see there is a raid coming. I have T1A on bot ready for that, and it's coming for your NG, and you don't have any tank to defend it. So what you gonna do? Okay, well, first let's queue up the max. Now I'm gonna send the raid. So you know it's coming and you have max here, so you can take the NG and hide it behind the max. So if it works correctly, when the light assault bot arrives to kill your NG, it's gonna be shooting the max instead, and you can try to reclaim it before it kills the max or moves to some better position to kill your NG. So this is one way to save NG that is building max and is in danger of dying. Then I have another lab ready, and this time I'm not gonna be, well, I need to move this NG a bit. Let's put it here. So I have an NG, and that one doesn't have any max to hide behind or anything else, and it's gonna be facing another light assault bot. Okay, so it's attacking, and what you wanna do is try to go towards the bot, and then as soon as you can, you prepare your reclaim command, and as soon as it's in range you click on it and try to reclaim it, and hopefully you will manage it. In this time it didn't work, it just ran by, but you can see that you almost manage it. So if your opponent start panicking and stops in front of an NG and then he tries to turn and run away, you have pretty high chances of succeeding, of reclaiming it and saving your NG. So this one was really close, and that's something you should do pretty much every time there is attack on your NG. At least try to reclaim the attackers. It might be 2 tanks, which will pretty much always kill your NG, but if you reclaim at least few HP from it, then your own tanks that you will send to counter that will have easier job, since the unit will be already damaged. So that is another thing you can do with reclaim. Okay, let's see what I prepared next. Looks like we are now moving to some more fancy stuff, and that is, for example, reclaiming T1 pigeons. Meanwhile, I will reclaim this Rex just now. Okay, so you have a line of T1 pigeons that you want to reclaim. One way to do it is to queue up reclaim command on each of the building. You can do that, no problem, it works, but it takes some time, since if I move my NG closer and try to reclaim the pigeon, you can see that first it's gonna slowly decrease all the HP before it can actually reclaim it and get the mass. Right now you're still not getting anything, and now you get the mass. So one thing some people are doing is to select those pigeons and Control K them, which is not the best thing to do, and I will show you why. If I Control K them all, and now if I look at the mass values, you can see that there will be some pigeons with less mass value than the others, and that is because the explosion of the pigeon is damaging them. So that is not a good thing to do. If you wanna speed it up, then you can select every second pigeon, Control K those, and then the rest is quite a lot of damage. They're not gonna die, so if you reclaim them, then it's gonna take much less time and you will get the most mass as you can. So if you don't have time to slowly reclaim them all and you wanna speed up the process, you can Control K every second. Okay, so that would be for the pigeons. Okay, next thing I have here is we have this nice air-built adjacency pigeons. So if we try to build any air, it's gonna cost much less energy thanks to this adjacency. Problem with this one is that it likes to explode, and it likes to explode a lot. So we have now our Harbinger here, and let's kill the pigeon. Okay, so our pigeon died, and I said stop shooting. Okay, doesn't want to listen. Yeah, no. Okay, so the pigeon died, and it heavily damaged the other two, so now for your opponent it doesn't take too much effort to finish them as well, or for you if you're killing your opponent. So nice explosion. Adjacency is a nice thing, but it can be very dangerous, especially in these cases. Okay, so few pigeons, few shots. If you kill one, the rest will follow really soon. Okay, but usually such a nice build also have some NGs, and you should always have few NGs around. So if I try to kill this pigeon, and I will switch back to this point of view of Red Army. Okay, so I know I will lose this pigeon, and I don't want it to damage all the buildings and start killing everything that is in range. So what I can do is to start reclaiming it, and that will deny the explosion. So wait a few seconds for that, and no explosion, nothing else is damaged. And you can do that for all the other pigeons if enemy is attacking, and this way you have much higher chances that the rest of your base is gonna survive. So that is one thing you can do, and you can apply that pretty much on any building that normally explodes, which are pigeons, mouse hubs, and stuff like that. Okay, so another thing I have here to say about reclaim is that which one is it? Yes, our Seraphim T4 units, which if you kill them, I guess I can copy one extra. If it's killed, it will release this energetic weapon that damages pretty much everything in range. As you will notice at some point of the game, can kill quite a lot of things. So let's imagine you have, for example, the Harbingers, and they might be defending your base, or you just have your whole army trying to kill this experimental. Now we are the blue player, and this is ugly experimental we wanna kill. Okay, so we start shooting it, but we don't want it to die in the middle of our army, because that would damage it all. So with Harbinger, one thing we can do is to start reclaiming it. And what will happen is that there is not gonna be any weapon killing us, and the explosion, as with the pigeon, is denied. So you can do that with Harbinger, with support commander if you have in your army, or you can do it with any NG, which I will try to show in this one. So I will send this IOTA to kill this nice looking UEF base, because usually some experimental unit is attacking, you have some NG or two near your defenses. If it's directly in your base, then you have a few more. I have to control K a few PDs. I think I built too much. I don't want it to die too early. So if you have some NGs near dying IOTA, you can always try to reclaim it, since the NG will deny the explosion. Okay, so now I'm reclaiming it, and again, once those PDs kills it, there's not gonna be anything damaging your base. So that is another trick you might not know. Well, I guess now you know, since I showed you already, but you can do it anytime. If you have any NG around, just go ahead and do it. And it might look a bit abusive, and so you will want to know how to counter it if you have the attacking IOTA. And the simplest way to do it is to control K it, which I can show up here. Okay, so I have this NG that is reclaiming it. So normally, if the IOTA would die, and the explosion would be denied. But if you see you're reaching really low health, you just press Ctrl K to kill it, and it will die in the normal way. And start damaging everything in range. Okay, so that would be that. And I guess one of the last thing about reclaim would be with Megalith, Cyber experimental unit. You might not know, but it can reclaim other units as well, and it's especially useful for experimentals. So if you want some battle with Megalith, or you have some experimental wreckages lying over the map, and NGs can't really claim it since there's too much fight going on, they die easily, they don't have enough HP, then you can use Megalith. And the way to use it, you will check where is the center of the wreck, which is shown right here, where the value is, and then you try to build something on it. Pretty much anything that Megalith can build. and that way, before the megalith starts constructing it, it will first reclaim it. We can see it's reclaiming, and it's reclaiming it super fast, plus 2000 mass per second, since megalith has really huge build power. So it will also reclaim super fast. So this way, with megalith, you can reclaim that experimentals really fast and make sure you will have them. And I guess that would be all I wanted to show you. I think I've used all my prepared scenarios, so I hope you learned something, and see you in some other tutorial.